Hello everyone, this is David. I figured if I was going to do a reaction video to Vinylizer John's Marillion video, I would show you my Marillion posters, but let's get going and we will, this might be a little longer video. I did it once and I missed some things. That's right, got a fish t-shirt from like a 2005 show. Let me get this out of the way. First, I'll just show a bunch of records that I have and some, like a tour booklet. So, even though I don't have a working turntable, I still have all my Marillion vinyl, except for I don't know what happened to Misplaced Childhood. I might have given that to a friend of mine. None of my versions have the gatefold Fugazi. Clutching at Straws, The Thieving Magpie. I, at one point, took this figure and redrew it onto another thing for a guy that I used to work with. I borrowed Misplaced Childhood and Clutching at Straws from my brother when I was younger. I also did a copy of this also. A lot bigger, but I have pictures someplace. I couldn't find them though. Lavender. I borrowed Misplaced Childhood and Clutching at Straws from my brother John, and I don't think he ever listened to them. And I liked him a lot, but it wasn't something that stuck with me until I worked with this guy named Steve Peterson, and he said, go home and listen to this, and he gave me a cassette copy for some reason. I had given my brother back the records, I think, or maybe those are still his. This is the Easter single, 12-inch, numbered. I think this has Warm Wet Circles in That Time of the Night live along with uninvited guests, so Steve Hogarth singing. I'll talk more about who's in the band. This is when my friend Mark started calling them Marillion Foreigner, because he said, oh, they sound like Foreigner now. Couple fish things. And a Marillion tour program. So, depending on how fast this goes, this might be a Fish and Marillion thing. I almost sold this. So, getting back to it, I at one point borrowed those from him, and the coworkers, he said, go home and listen to these. Sorry, I gotta plug this phone in. He said, go home and listen to this album, and he gave me a cassette copy of Misplaced Childhood, and I was blown away. I was a huge fan right from that time. I found Clutching at Straws in a bargain bin at Sears or JCPenney's or something like that. And yeah, it's been an ongoing love affair with this album, or this band. So I will go through these. So these are the 1997 reissues. All of them come with extensive liner notes, if you are curious, and lyrics to everything. The bad part is, like, look at that. That's ripped because the booklet is so big it doesn't want to fit in here. That's why I have two copies of Misplaced Childhood, because it had done that. And it's so hard to get these back in. I've almost bought all of these over again just so I can have versions that aren't damaged. Like this booklet, oh my god, it does not want to go back in. That's why I'm not going to take any more of these booklets out. They all have extensive liner notes. They all have lyrics. This is their first album, Script for a Jester's Tear. And my favorite song on here is Chelsea Monday, or Forgotten Sons. It also has a 19-minute song called Grendel. My dog's name is Grendel, which I think is cool. Never been my favorite Fish era Marillion. The next three have switch spots left and right. Punch and Judy or Emerald Lies are my two favorite, mainly because of the drum parts in them. I'm a drummer, so that's the first thing that I kind of gravitate towards. And Jonathan Mover was in the band for a short time. He came up with the Punch and Judy drum part, I think, and it never changed, but originally I don't think Fish really wanted that drum part, if I remember correctly. I like it, but I'm not the writer. I have two versions of this 2-disc set because of those reasons for the booklets. I got this one used for like under $5. So I also have the 5-disc version that comes with the Blu-ray and surround sound, but I lent that to a friend of mine because he wanted to listen to the surround sound. I also have... Well, let's talk about this album first. Misplaced Childhood was the thing that really broke them, and my favorite on here is a song called Waterhole Espresso Bongo. It is so great. It has so much energy. It's just when taxis gather and mock solemnity, funeral horses court the death of virginity. Was a paradise lost or a paradise found? Did we gain respect or were we holding ground? You found true love, or so you believed in the wide boys that wear their hearts upon, tattoo their hearts upon the sleeves. Fish brought his A game on this album. Granted, he was bringing his A game on these two, but this is just whole nother level, in my opinion. I really like that song. I like Bittersweet. This also has all the bonus demos of the whole album and then a bunch of other bonus tracks. Each of these come with a second disc. This one, again, is like this. Hotel Hobbies, Warm Wet Circles, and That Time of the Night are all kind of one song, and that really, really is my favorite part. That and White Russian. Right, White Russian was the one song that really got me to be a fan of this album over Misplaced Childhood. And there's live stuff, live DVD, live CDs, all the demos on disc 4 and the Blu-ray on this one. That was the last album with Fish. No. Well, technically the last studio album. I also have Reel to Reel and Brief Encounter on a 2-disc set. And the big double Thieving Magpie. There was a cassette of this that only had half of Misplaced Childhood, which is really silly, but it is what it is. I think the vinyl had both things, all of it. I don't know, I have it right down there. I could check, but I'm not going to. I still have my receipt in here from when I bought all of these. I bought 7 CDs at once, and I got my friend's discount at Disco Round in Roseville, Minnesota. It still came to $153.23. That was June 10th, 1999 is when I got this. Got all of the remasters and stuff. This is live Holidays in Eden, which I will get to. This is actually How We Live, which is the band Hogarth was in before he joins. And then this is a Front Row Club sampler, which is, I believe, live stuff. This is the first album with Steve Hogarth, and I think it's great. They completely changed their sound, in my opinion. Um, Not 100%. Probably like let's go in this 45-degree angle thing over here. My favorite song on this is The Space, and there's a song on the second disc called The Bell in the Sea. Of course, you also get a bunch of demos. Yeah. So, sorry, I'm running out of space here. Holidays in Eden, Splintering Heart, and then the last three songs on here are also fully connected, and they're just awesome. This Town, Rake's Progress, and 100 Nights. 100 Nights ends so beautifully. And this one also has a Sympathy cover, which was a Rare Bird cover, and I do have Rare Bird albums too with the original. Then we go on to Brave, which is another concept album, and I too have this. This is possibly one of the best 5.1 surround sound things I've ever listened to. I like how when I put it up, everything turns orange, and then I take it away, and I go back to normal. But this has the Blu-ray, the original album by Dave Meegan, the Steve Wilson remix, and Live at La Cigale, I think it's called. I'm not sure. It was remixed. That is the same as this Made Again CD. Whoa, almost dropped it there. That wouldn't have been good. Where did I put the other one? The last EMI album, and the last one that is a 2-disc set. Oh, by the way, my favorite things on this one are probably, I don't know. This is all one kind of big, long song also. Well, not really, but it just all runs into one another. You're supposed to listen to it loud with the lights off. It's all good, but Living with the Big Lie, Runaway, Opium Den is great. Anyway, Hard as Love. This went back to the main, let's just write really great songs kind of format. Beautiful and Afraid of Sunlight are fantastic. Pete plays fretless bass on Afraid of Sunlight, and it sounds awesome. But that was also the beginning of them having a really big bass sound on their albums. This Strange Engine has the song Memory of Water. I think they have redone this through Mad Fish in a booklet form, but I just haven't gotten it. Also, Man of a Thousand Faces is great. Marillion Radiation. This is the 2013 remixed version. I like the original version, but the remixed version does sound a lot better. My favorite songs on here are Answering Machine. Yes, Answering Machine. I'll just go with one. Later Marillion, I don't know the names of a ton of the songs. This is also another one of these booklets. This one actually has both versions of the album, the remix and the original 98 remix, or 98 mix, and they come with these crazy booklets. My favorite one on this is Go, or A Legacy. I have two versions of this. I have this original jewel case one, and then I have the booklet version. And again, this comes in like a crazy booklet. It doesn't have really liner notes or any. Oh no, it does. Yes, it has liner notes. I've purchased things and then not gotten around to really invest time with them. Between You and Me and Map of the World are probably my favorite two songs on here. Anarachnophobia, I believe that means a fear of anthrax, basically parkas. This album blew me away. It came out of nowhere, and there's Invisible Man, which is really long, like 11 minutes, 12 minutes, and Ocean Cloud, which is like 20 minutes. Just awesome. Do not get the single disc version of this. If you cannot find the regular 2-disc version, and this version comes with like these trays. The original version had a bunch of thank yous and stuff like that. Also on track disc 2 is Don't Hurt Yourself, which is fantastic. Marbles Live, no Ocean Cloud though. Has Neverland. I don't like that song. This is Somewhere Else. This was kind of a disappointment from Marbles. I think they released it a little bit too fast, in my opinion. Probably the title track would be my favorite, but I'm really bad with titles on some of these. You have Happiness is the Road, Volume 1 and 2. This is kind of like, what is that called? Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Should they have just done one album and released all the best songs and stuff? Between these two albums, because I consider them a double album, my favorite song is Older Than Me. And then Live at Cagden Hall. This is a 2-disc set. It's a stripped down acoustic-y version, but Ian is still playing a full drum set. Mark is still playing like synthesized keyboards on some things, and it is really good, really delicate. It was a Christmas concert, and it is fantastic. My wife loves this. My wife doesn't like anything I listen to. I've only listened to this maybe 2-3 times. I just couldn't get into it. Maybe I will. Gaza, I really didn't like. I thought it was too long, too political. I'm going to talk about Fish in my next video, or maybe in this video too. But, you know, it's crazy that a band that really had a singer who was even more political than Hogarth. I didn't mind the Fish lyrics that were political, or even in his solo albums. Whoa, sorry about that. If I put my hand up, things go kind of darker. And last but not least, out of the Marillion stuff, Fear, Fuck Everything and Run. I hate that title. I think it's dumb. But Living in Fear is a pretty decent track on here. Yeah, and that is my Marillion collection really quick, because if I went any slower, it would have been 100 billion years long. I'm going to do a separate one for Fish, so hopefully there are fans out there. Otherwise, you can just move on.